Good evening, everyone. We are here for Royer's Royal Recap of Nelly and Ashanti's We Belong Together, okay? They are in the building on the TV doing their thing. Now, this is the first episode. It is called Break Up to Makeup. And listen, I remember Ashanti and Nelly from back in the day, early 2000s. It's getting hot in here. Take off all your clothes, okay? Y'all remember Nelly's hit? You know, Ashanti sing many hits with Ja Rule. She has some hits on her own. I mean, they are here giving us a rebirth, showing us where they are today, what they've got going on. And so I've just really enjoyed the season, okay? Now, they have dropped the season early on Peacock. So episodes 1 through 8 are already on Peacock, which I've seen all of them. And I do believe they're going to be showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 each week on Sundays on Bravo, I believe. So I'll keep you updated on that. But if not, if you're not watching it, if you can't catch it, I will be here to give you the full recap of the season, okay? So, hey, Juice, thank you for supporting. Tay Tay, hello. Tara, hello. Thank you so much for coming in the building and watching with me, okay? So, listen, we're going to jump right into this. As I said, we are recapping Nelly and Ashanti. We Belong Together, okay? And this episode 1, season 1, and this is entitled Break Up to Makeup. So, you know, Ashanti and Nelly, this is a first episode is a surprise party for Ashanti. So they're jumping in the Sprinter. They're heading on down to the surprise party. Now, Nelly has told Ashanti that this is just a small dinner gathering. You know, Ashanti really did not want to go out. The baby was just born 3 months ago. So she's still in mommy mode, like protective mode. I want to be with my baby. I want to cover my baby. I want to protect my baby. But Nelly just asked for one night, okay? Give me one night. Let's go out and celebrate your birthday, okay? Now, baby KK, like I said, was born 3 months ago, and so she is in love and obsessed with baby KK, and I love that so much. I think what also is so funny to me about this relationship, and as we're watching, Nelly is super jealous of KK because he takes up all of Ashanti's time. And I'm just like, I've never, and I don't have children, but I've never seen a parent jealous of the child because they take up the other parent's time. It was just super cute, super funny to me. And I was just like, okay, Nelly, Ashanti, I see y'all. So they're in the car, they're riding, you know, and Ashanti and Nelly, Shelly, that's gonna be their new name. Ashanti and Nelly, they got together in early 2003 is when they first met at the Grammys. And so when they met, you know, she was just so in love with his looks. He was in love with her looks. They, you know, rekindled a little connection and they kind of got together from there on now. Now, Ashanti is normally used to going out to the islands because she loves a good island trip for her birthday. But because she cannot travel due to breastfeeding KK, they are going to a surprise party, a surprise island party, okay? So they pull up to the party and Ashanti is shocked, okay? She is blown away. Her family is there. Her friends are there. It was a beautiful party. It was island themed, like I said. They had plates that were like shells. They had palm trees. They had flowers. It was bright and gorgeous pink, just fabulous. Super, super cute party. And the food looked delicious. So whoever did that party, y'all did that. That was a super cute party. Now, Nelly has not had such a close family like Ashanti. Ashanti grew up with her mom and dad in the household, her little sister that she's 8 years older than. They all grew up, you know, in a one togetherness, loving each other, caring for each other, being a part of each other's lives, okay? Nelly did not have that in his life. His parents divorced early in life. He stayed with his mom for a little bit. He stayed with his dad for a little bit. And then he lived with his grandparents for a while. And so being around family and nurturement and love, Nelly really, really enjoys that from Ashanti's family. So I love that, you know, he's gleaming from her family and that her family seems to be, from what we have seen so far, very open, loving, and accepting of Nelly being in Ashanti's life. Now, They were together on and off for 11 years. Like I said, they met in early 2003, together on and off for about 11 years before calling it quits. Now, they were in a long distance relationship. Ashanti lived in New York. Nelly lived in St. Louis. And during that long distance relationship, those 11 years, they were not able to really rectify their issues person to person. There would be phone calls, there would be text messages, it was just never able to have a real conversation face to face, really being able to deal with those issues. And it put a strain on their relationship, they both admit. And so they finally just had to call it quits, and it got so bad that they ended up hating one another. And so they never thought that they would be here back together again. Well, fast forward a few years later, in 2021, Fat Joe and Ja Rule, they were a part of a versus, okay? And so, of course, Ashanti has to come because Ja Rule and Fat Joe, that is her crew. They do the music together, okay? So she's there getting ready to perform. And so her mother, Miss Tina, she's backstage doing her momager thing. Now, she is Ashanti's mom and manager, okay? She entitles herself as Mom Anger. So Momanger, okay? She is the original momager, as she claims herself to be. She was backstage handling business, doing stuff for Ashanti. And she looks up and she like, oh, hell no. What is he doing here? She goes back to, check on Ashanti and had to let baby girl know, this man is here, girl. Ashanti said, who? She said, your ex, Nelly. And it was up from there, okay? So Ashanti says that her and Fat Joe had plenty of conversations throughout the time preparing for this versus. And there was never any word mentioned about Nelly coming to perform. So she's out on stage. She does her few songs with Ja Rule, does her set. And she goes on back to the side of the stage, okay? Well, as the time goes on, Nelly finally comes out, introduced by Fat Joe. They do the song together. And so Nelly said that he sensed that there was some tension between them on the stage. And at this stage of life, Nelly had moved on. He had released the old stuff that they had been through. And so, Nelly decided that he would scoot on over to the other side of the stage where Ashanti was and give her a hug, and they embraced one another. And that was in 2021. Well, since then, they rekindled their relationship. They started talking again. The fans were rooting for them to get back together. She was on Watch What Happens Live. They were rooting for her to get back together. Tamron Hall was rooting for her to get back together. I mean, everybody were rooting for Nelly and Ashanti to get back together, and including me. I can't even say I wasn't, because I remember when that rekindlation happened, and I was like, oh my God, it's like the couple that needs to be together are getting back together. So it was really beautiful, to see that moment when they hugged. She embraced him just so gracefully and openly. She rubbed him on his back, and he said once he felt that rub on his back, he knew he backed her right back up again. So, they got back together. Ashanti, mentioned that 10 years ago, there was supposed to be a proposal, but the timing wasn't right. They weren't in the same space mentally, emotionally, nor physically, and it just didn't work out. Well, after 2021's rekindling, they decided to get married in 2023. And, it was a very quiet ceremony. Not a lot of people invited, nothing extravagant, but they are going to have a major wedding, okay? He said he going to see his bride in that Vera Wang wedding dress. And Ashanti says she is strutting down that aisle. Mama Tina says that she definitely feels the love between Ashanti and Nelly, and she knows that it's genuine. She knows that they, love one another. They've moved past the hurt and the trauma that they both caused one another, and that she's excited that, they're in a good place, they're married, and that she has a beautiful grandbaby, okay? Ashanti, normally travels, as I said, for her birthday. So the island came to her. They sang an island happy birthday to her. It was beautiful. And then it was present time. Now, Nelly, you know, he said that she's already got the ring on her finger. And listen, if you ain't seen Ashanti's ring, go Google it, look it up. It's beautiful. It is everything. Now, he said, I got a little gift for you. You got the ring already. But you've been snatching up my diamond earrings. These earrings that he's wearing in this photo over here, you've been snatching them up. And so he got her a brand new pair of diamond earrings because she lost hers. She lost her pair. So he said, in order for you not to be taking mine or lose mine, I'm going to give you a brand new pair. Okay. So that was the first scene, opening scene of Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. In their confessionals, you can really tell that they are in love with one another, and not just in love, but in like with one another as well. I love the fact that, you know, he is so charismatic. She is just so funny and loving with him. He's funny and loving with her. They are just this beautiful couple that I always in my head imagined that they would be like, just funny and fun and cute, and just they are so beautiful together. So I really, really enjoyed the welcoming scene, is what I would call, to Nelly and Ashanti. It was a beautiful birthday celebration. All her family was there. It was just such a dope scene. So I really, really enjoyed the opening scene of Ashanti and Nelly, We Belong Together. So we head on over to her New York apartment. Now, Nelly and Ashanti, they are living in Long Island, New York, temporarily in a temporary apartment right now. Ashanti is making bottles and she's singing. Nelly is rapping. They playing a little baby music on the YouTube screen. It was super cute. KK, let's be clear, was not born, or excuse me, he was not an oops baby. Excuse me. One of the producers asked, was he an oops baby? And Ashanti said, don't you ever call her baby KK a oops baby. And Nelly said this child was probably the only child that wasn't a oops baby out of the children that he has, okay? Now, Nelly, he has 2 children. This is Ashanti's first child, her only child. She does not allow any face pictures. She said you can show the hands, you can show the feet, but you can't show nothing else, okay? She is a mama bear and KK is her cub, and she is not here to play. Now, as I said, Nelly has 2 children, but then he also helped raise his sister's children who passed away. So she had 2 children as well. So altogether, he has raised 4 children, okay? They have not finalized exactly where they're going to live at. Nelly walked into this marriage and he said that he will not live his life in New York, because his life, his children, his family, and his business is all down in St. Louis. And Ashanti walked into this marriage and relationship and she said that she does not want to leave New York. She loves St. Louis. It's a beautiful place. But New York is home. That's where she belongs, okay? So, unfortunately, they are in this temporary apartment. The furniture is not very comfy. It is not family friendly. They don't have a sturdy bed, you know, supposedly. So they need to go out and make this home a little bit more better, okay? So they have all, you know, come to an agreement that we need a new mattress. So they are headed to the mattress store in this next scene. Now, I do really, really respect that Ashanti chose not to allow, Ashanti and Nelly both chose not to allow to show their baby on camera. And the reason I say that is because it gives them a sense of protection to protect their child, to keep the public eye from just having their way with the baby, KK, okay? We know that people are mean, they're cruel, they're disrespectful, they have no sense of honor and respect for nobody. So I thought it was the best decision, out of respect for KK and out of respect for their relationship and their family, to keep him off camera. I truly, truly love that they did that. We can see KK later on down the line when he gets older. I'm sure they'll show us baby pictures one day, someday. But right now, I really do think that it was a great idea keeping the baby off camera. You know, Ashanti is just this overly protective mom, which I love. You know, I love a parent, both parents in general. I love when parents are just overly protective of their children, just overly loving of their children, just overly everything of their children. And it was just such a beautiful relationship to see that she's building with this child. It definitely gives the vibes of, and Nelly said this at the party, because when she was giving her thank you speech, she was just talking about how she loves her baby and she loves Nelly and their family. And he was like, you see that she said my baby, like it's just her baby. And Nelly is like super jealous of this baby, but it's in such a cute fatherly way, relationship husbandy way. Like it's just super, super cute. So, we're heading on to the mattress store because they need a bed. Now, this is Hastings mattress store, okay? And these are not just mattresses. They are not beds. These are sleep instruments, okay? Now, I love a good bed. I love a good mattress. I was just telling a friend the other day, when I get in the bed, I have to have a setup, y'all. I have to have my sheet. I have to have my comforter. I have to have my blanket. I got to have at least 4 pillows in the bed. Like, it's a whole setup, okay? So this mattress experience, this sleep instrument experience that they had was thebomb.com. It was everything. I've never seen this before on TV. It was something different, something new, and I totally enjoyed this scene, okay? So finding a sleep instrument firm, Hastings will be the change. Well, excuse me. Finding the sleep instrument in Hastings will change your sleep forever in the first night, is what the representative down at the sleep instrument store told them, okay? These mattresses are so comfortable, so just indulging, like it's going to change you for the first night. So, Nelly said he's never heard of a sleep instrument. He's never heard of having to make an appointment to look for mattresses, to having, being tucked in. This store goes as far as to tuck people in when they get in the mattress, to just give them the full live experience of what it's going to be like sleeping in a Hastings mattress, okay? So, they try sleeping in the first instrument. They get in, and they love it from the first lay down, okay? They said it was super comfortable, very nice, very elegant. And as they're being tucked in, Nelly asks, what's the range price of this mattress? And so I believe the salesperson name was Chris. Chris said that it was starting at $76,000 for a sleep instrument mattress, okay? $76,000. Nelly said, I need to get up out of here right now. He said, Ashanti, get up out these people's bed, because we cannot do this. This is too much. He said, I ain't never heard of no mattress costing $76,000, starting at $76,000. I said, I need to go find this Hastings store and go lay in that $76,000, because Jesus Christ, he said it was amazing. Nelly said that he did not grow up, having a bed for the first 8 years of his life. So he was grateful for whatever he could get. A couch, a blow-up bed, a pallet on the floor. He was grateful for whatever. So him spending $76,000 on a mattress, it's just not realistic to him. Chris said that these mattresses range from $25,000 up to $1 million. Now, Shanti said that she knew that these mattresses were expensive, but she did not know that they went up to $1 million. And her idea was to try to convince Nelly that this was his idea, because you said we needed a mattress, so here we are. I'm trying to give you the best of what sleep instruments can offer you. They laid in another bed. That bed was $315,000. Nelly said, I can go down and get me a Porsche for this. I can go buy me a brand new car. I can go buy me anything for $315,000. He said, we got to get up out of here. This is not going to be it. He said, Chris, show me the clearance section, okay? So I thought that scene was super cute. A sleep instrument for $76,000 starting, going up to the millions. That specific one started at $76,000. He said that they have some at $25,000. I want to know what's the difference from 25,000 to the million. Like, I want to sleep in a 25,000 and then jump to sleep into the million one, and I need to know the difference because oh my goodness, it's got to be heaven. I hope it feel like heaven. What other feeling is it other than heaven? That's all it can be. Okay, so in our next scene, we have a scene with Ashanti and getting in, doing a fitting. So Ashanti performed until her 8th month of pregnancy prior to having the baby. Okay, so up until her 8th month, she was on these stages, singing, touring, flying, traveling, doing her due. Okay, in 2024 of July, KK was born, and so she stopped all work. Okay, now she has now been invited to perform at Motown Christmas Special out in LA. Okay, and this is an honor for Ashanti. She tells us, she says she's always hoped to do something like this, but she never has really had the real opportunity. So she's super excited to perform for Motown because Motown is like the beginning of everything for us. Like, it is that record label that just took off. Okay, everybody was with Motown, so she said, I got to do it. So, she's down trying on some looks. A rack is brought out from her stylist, and Ashanti is in the midst of breastfeeding. And, she's like, listen, I am not as skinny as I used to be. I used to be able to put on the tight clothes and the bustiers and do all of that. Mama said, no, I can't do that no more. So we got to find something that fits. So her stylist, picks out her dress because she says she ain't trying everything on the rack on. And so she goes and tries on the dress, and it fit really nicely. Honestly, it was definitely, she could still lose some weight, but for where she was in the dress, I thought it was really nice. It did need to be tailored to her body still, to fit, in a beautiful way. But I thought the dress was beautiful, and I thought, hey, she was able to get into a dress, so you're progressing. You're going in the right direction. Ashanti said that she's just not really feeling this performance because honestly, she has never left KK since the day he's been born in July. Okay, so she's breastfeeding. She doesn't want to leave him. She knows that she can store up breast milk, but she's afraid that she won't store up enough breast milk. She's got to continue to pump while she's gone. She wants to bring KK, but she doesn't want him traveling in the airports, going through security. She would fly private, but the security thing is still an issue. People breathing on him. I mean, like we said, she is Mama Bear and KK is her cub. And she's going to protect the baby at all costs. So I completely, totally understand. Ashanti said, well, hey, how about we just say that the wardrobe didn't show up? The stylist said, no, ma'am, you're not going to put that on me. I'm not going to be the fall guy for you. You're going to get in these clothes. You're going to go to this performance. You're going to get your money, honey. So, she did get in the dress. Like I said, it needs to be tailored to her body, but I think it'll be a great fit for her once it is fitted and everything is good. So that was that fitting scene with Ashanti. Next up, we have a dinner scene with Ashanti and Nelly again. So we're back with the two of them. Ashanti mentioned that Charles, so his name was Charles, sorry, not Chris. Charles from Hastings, called her. They had a great conversation about the mattress. And Nelly said, yeah, I bet he did call you because he know not to call me because I'm not paying no $76,000 for no sleep instrument, okay? He said he ain't doing it. They ordered drinks. Nelly ordered a drink. Ashanti ordered her special. Now, Ashanti is not drinking because she is breastfeeding. Nelly said, go on and have your little drink. Sometimes my mom used to put a little wine in my bottle to put me to sleep. And Ashanti said, and look at you. We are not doing that, sir. She is not having no alcohol in her breast milk. Her baby is not receiving alcohol. She is doing everything natural and she is just such a covering, protective mom, and she wants the best for her baby. This is her first baby, and I know she is just overly obsessed with this baby, and I love it. I love, like I said, a parent that just is overly obsessed with their child. Be caring about your child. We're like just because they're crying don't mean you need to give them a little drink to shut them up and put them to sleep. No, like nurture with them, spend that time with them, bond with them. Like I just love her relationship as a mom. Like it's just so beautiful. It reminds me of my mommy. So Ashanti talks about her Christmas special and her not really wanting to do it. She would love for Nelly to come, but Nelly is booked at one music fest down in Atlanta, so unfortunately he cannot be there to support her. Nelly says he really does want to be there, but he will support her from where he is, and she knows he'll be supporting him for where she is. Ashanti shares that she is locked in for this performance, but she's just not sure if she's really up to leaving KK, and doing the work. Her counterparts have had children and they have gone back to work and doing the tours and all of that. And she totally understands that. But as of right now, she's just not in the place to do that as a first-time mom. She's just still in that cuddling, holding, protective, covering stage. And I totally understand that. But honey, if you need a bag, you got to go get the bag, okay? That's just what you got to do sometimes. She wouldn't mind riding on a tour bus, but Nelly said he know from New York to LA is not a ride that she want to do. She ain't down for that life. And she doesn't want to fly commercial. She would fly private, but still the whole germ thing. She just can't deal with it, with having to go through security, and then you got to go through, getting on the plane and all these people. It's just a lot. It's definitely a lot traveling with a newborn baby. Now, Nelly said, listen, I got 4 grown kids who have no problems. They all made it to adulthood. I can take the baby with me and the nanny, and we can head on down, to Atlanta, and you can go to LA to do your show. Ashanti said that will be enough. You are not taking my baby anywhere, okay? So she was just really stuck on making the decision. Do I leave? Do I stay? Do I go? What exactly do I do? Obviously, she don't trust leaving the baby with Nelly all by herself. So it was just a no for her, okay? They ended up talking about now what schools would we possibly send KK to. Ashanti feels that the schools in New York are the best. They're amazing, and she knows exactly where she wants him to go. Nelly is like, the schools are just as good in St. Louis, and I kind of have an idea where I think he could go too. As I told y'all earlier, they have not exactly landed on a space of where they're going to live. So at least for now, KK is not in school. But if anything, y'all can do homeschooling and just go back and forth from New York to St. Louis, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure they'll come up with a good solution. I mean, for me, this is definitely not grounds to divorce. It's definitely not grounds to have a big argument or a big separation about. I mean, we just have to come to some conclusions. And I feel like with their lifestyle, they can definitely live bi-coastal. I think that would not be hard for them to do, maybe. Nelly said that his business is in St. Louis. His family is in St. Louis. And we see that later on in the season, that all of his life is literally in St. Louis. And all of Ashanti's life is in New York. But I feel like that they will be able to come to some kind of middle ground to kind of figure out what way that they need to go. Ashanti has admitted that she doesn't mind living in St. Louis, but she doesn't want to live there for the same reasons that he doesn't want to live in New York. So I guess, going forward, we'll see how that turns out. So that was their dinner scene. One thing that I noticed about this episode and the show as I watched is that you can tell that they had an agreement that we are not going to act a fool on this TV screen, okay? They really just, they have disagreements, but the way that they handle them is such a mature way. It's just so beautiful to me. I love that. I feel like they have the sense of, we're not going to let this camera or these people out here destroy our marriage, destroy what we have going on, or enter the conversation of what we are going to choose to do or not do. And so it really gave that title that we belong together. They are better together. Yes, they are, Connie. That is such a true statement. They are better together, and that's what they're showing. I appreciate you, Auntie. Make sure y'all hit that like button as you're coming through. I appreciate you. Hey, Patricia, thanks for joining. Tay Tay, that is a very hard decision. It is very hard to decide exactly where we're going to live, but I do think that they can come to some kind of common ground and really figure out exactly what they both can, do, and it seems like that they are financially stable and in a good place. So bi-coastal may be a good idea. We'll just have to wait and see. They do have a very, from what we see, a healthy relationship. It really does seem that way. And I love that for them. So that was that scene. Ashanti, she said the baby will not be going with you to Atlanta with no nanny, okay? If anything, her baby gonna stay right in Atlanta. She gonna go, right in New York. She gonna run to LA, do what she gotta do, and come back. So we'll see. We'll find out about this school when school time comes. I just love the fact that they were really open to have the conversation and that they're open to seeing where things can land for them, as far as their future. So as long as you're open, anything can be solved, in my opinion. So next up, we have another solo scene. Ashanti really has to make a decision on this performance, okay? Because the time is coming up. Time is ticking. Now, Ashanti assistant is coming in from walking her two beautiful pit bulls. And so she's, discussing with her assistant or the nanny. I don't know. I want to say this was the nanny and the assistant kind of thing. But she's discussing with the nanny that, she doesn't know if she's going to stay. She doesn't know if she's going to go. She doesn't know if she's going to bring KK. She doesn't know if she's just not going to do it all together. And so the nanny said, listen, I totally understand. Whatever you want to do, I'm down for it. My bags are packed. They unpack whatever it is. I'm down for the ride. So, Ashanti said, well, listen, I'm going to call my mom because Momager always has the answers. Ashanti said that mom has always got her best interest at heart, and mom has Ashanti's best interest at heart. She knows that whatever needs to be done will be worked out with mom. Mom can figure it out. Mom can save the day, okay? So she calls Mama Tina, and that is Momager, Mom Anger, okay? And so she is just like, Mom, listen, I don't know what I want to do. I know we have this scheduled performance coming up. I know I'm sealed in. I know I'm locked in. I know I need to do this. And I'm working with Debbie Allen. I love Debbie Allen. I've always desired to work with her again. They have worked together in the past, and this is something that she's wanted to do again. And so mom said, listen, I understand what you're going through. You got to calm down and breathe. And remember that you're just having a lot of firsts. This is your first time having a baby. This is your first time leaving your baby. This is your first time performing after your baby. And it's all going to work out. And I said right then and there, that's when I know mama had her back. Because when you can recognize the first and realize that we are experiencing moments that we've never experienced before, and that we can make it through these moments, it's just like, boom. She loves me. She cares for me. She respects for me. She has respect for me. She sees me. And that's all you need sometimes. It's just somebody to see you and to understand exactly what you're going through. So shout out to Mama Tina for seeing her child, not just being worried about the money, not just being worried about the fame, not just be worried about working with Debbie Allen again, but actually seeing your daughter, reminding her that this is a first, and then saying, we're going to make it through this. Shout out to Mama Tina. She's definitely got Ashanti's best interest at heart. Ashanti still wasn't really convinced about the performance. So she said, listen, I got to go run an errand. How about you roll out with me? Come to the house. We'll roll out together, and we can continue to talk about this up-and-coming performance, okay? So we're riding in the car in this beautiful Rolls Royce. Listen, the people got the Rolls Royces, okay? The people got the money. She's got a drop top Rolls Royce. It was fabulous. A 2-door. I was just like, okay, we see you, girl. We see you rolling in the dough. So Ashanti and Miss Tina, they go out for a ride to go pick up some shoes. And so Miss Tina, she went to speak with Debbie Allen about everything. And there was supposed to only be 2 songs, 2 looks, and that was it. Well, come to find out, there's actually 3 songs that Ashanti has to perform. And she has to do the finale of the show. Now, Ashanti was only expecting to do 1 performance. She doesn't really know the words to the song, so she's got to learn the words to the song. You know, she feels like she needs a teleprompter. She feels like that, you know, she's just not ready for all of this. She's got to learn moves and setting and placement. This is a lot for her. She's overwhelmed. And so mom is like, listen, you know, I always got your back. Now, if this is something you choose not to do, I got the lawyers lined up and ready because I know we're going to get sued because we are locked in to do a deal for the Motown Christmas performance. So I understand, but you know I'm going to fight for you and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you're comfortable and that this goes smoothly. So, you know, Ashanti, she's still a little hesitant about doing it, but she is seeming to be a little bit more open. Mom said, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to the meeting tomorrow. We'll give them what we need. If they can do it, great. If not, we'll move accordingly. And so that wrapped up the first episode of Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. So, you know, this show, super cute, super family oriented. You know, as I said, I have seen the full season, so I do feel like as a family you can watch this because it's appropriate in my opinion. We don't have no craziness going on. It ain't a whole bunch of fussing and cussing and arguing. It ain't a whole bunch of, you know, fighting and all. It was just such a beautiful relationship to watch grow again. As we know, they were together starting off in the early 2000s. Like I said, 11 years on and off together, a breakup to make up back all over again, have a baby, get married, and be happy. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm loving it. So I'm going to be recapping the full season of this show. Make sure you stay tuned to my channel. If you have any thoughts or opinions, please leave them down below. I definitely read the comments as well. So thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that, joining me, excuse me. Make sure you hit that like button on this video. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you hit the subscribe button on my channel and your notification bell on all. That way you see each and every time I post a video with you in mind. My final thoughts, this episode, it was definitely a 10. I'm rating this a 10 from start to finish. It gave everything it needed to give and more. And so, as we always do, leave your ratings in the comment section, and I'll go through those as well. But it was a 10 out of 10. We got family, we got love, we got celebration, we got a baby. I mean, we have disagreements, but healthy disagreements. We have conversation, and so much more is coming throughout this season. We're going to find out what's going on with this performance. We're going to find out what Nelly is doing these days. We're going to, you know, also hear about this whole him performing for the Donald Trump inauguration. All of that and more is coming this season. So make sure you stay tuned into my channel. As I said, this is on Peacock. The full season is already out. Episode 1 through 8 is already out, but they will be releasing it, I believe, on Bravo if you don't have Peacock every week. So I'll be doing a weekly recap of Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. Well, listen, I thank you and appreciate each and every one of you for joining me. Make sure you hit the like button once again, subscribe, and your notification bells on all. Join me next Monday for the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap with Chronicles of the Grey Head Diva. Also, join us tomorrow for our recap of Next Gen NYC. Episode 5 came out. I watched it earlier, and ooh-wee, what a show. I cannot wait to watch recap it. Candy Burris has come through the building. Okay, so Riley's mom is coming through the show. You know, there's some talks that Mr. Charlie is out here raising bills and not paying them. We going out to the clubs, you buying drinks and inviting people into the section, but you're not paying your portion or their way. We're gonna talk about it though. So make sure you watch episode 5 of Next Gen NYC. It dropped yesterday on Peacock. On Bravo. It's today now on Peacock, and we'll be recapping that tomorrow with Chronicles of the Gray Head Diva and myself. Alrighty, so join us next Monday for, like I said, Atlanta, the reunion, and then join me next Wednesday for the recap of Nelly and Ashanti, We Belong Together. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I will catch y'all next time in Roy's Royal Recap. Good night and goodbye, everybody.
Royal's World.